Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. And first of all, yes, my hands are a complete disaster. I have been doing this, and yeah, so I didn't realize that my gloves had little tiny holes in them, and so when I took them off, I had this wonderful mess here. So if that bothers you, I'm really sorry, but yeah, that's just how I am today. So uh anyway, now that that's out of the way, today I would like to share with you this third naked journal from the four that I was doing. I was going to show the last two together, but the fourth one isn't quite done yet. It's a bird themed one, and this one I've had done for a few days, so I wanted to go ahead and show you guys so I could get it listed in my Etsy shop. So this one, I mean, of course you can make these into whatever you wish, whatever theme, but this one is all like shades of pink and flowers, and it would be a fantastic gardening journal because it's got a lot of garden themes. And first of all, I would like to thank April, Priscilla, Kim, and Dolly for all of the lace that you guys have gifted me, because I used a lot of that for the covers. And then April just sent me some of these little appliques, and I had a different idea for the cover with some other vintage lace, but then I got these and I was like, oh my gosh, these are so perfect to go with this theme. And then this curtain piece here I used quite a bit of from Dolly, and yeah, everything was just so perfect. So okay, so just like the others, it's four signatures. It is a repurposed vintage book, and I guess I'll just show you the closure first. I cut off one of the ends of that pretty lace curtain, and this is like a really pale peach color. I know it's kind of hard to see. It's overcast today, so my bad lighting is even worse. And so as you can see, I've sewn through this so that it stays together quite well. And then I've glued these applique pieces onto the bottom, and I'm pretty sure these are vintage ones that she sent. So, and they are very pale pink. Of course, it's going to be hard to tell, but so cute, right? So that's the closure. You just tie it. It's not quite long enough for a bow, but it works. And the reason why I used this is because I used many pieces of this curtain to, let's just lay it out here. Whoops, got all this stuff coming out. I'm just going to lay it out flat so you can see. But I used many pieces of the curtain to, I've done basically a fabric collage with, oh, and I got these pink laces from Mrs. Debbie way back in the day when I joined Junk Journal Junkies. So if you're watching, thank you so much for that. But yeah, so I made a collage of textiles and all of the pretty laces that I had, and they're all in shades of pink. So there's a lot of this curtain, and then this pink lace, and then this pretty lace here from Priscilla. And then I had this really cool like scarf, and it's a pale pink as well, and it has these cute little like fuzzies on it. And then I sewed it all together and laid it out, and to add a little bit more space, I've added this pink sari silk around the edges. So the sari silk goes around the edges of the whole entire book. And as you can see, the signatures are sewn into the spine. And then on the front cover, I just had a book haul. I think it was the week before last. And I got an apothecary book that I'm going to be using in another journal. And it had this gorgeous image of a painting in it, and she's stopped to smell the roses in this beautiful garden here. So I thought it was just perfect for this book, and I've just layered that up onto some coffee dye paper and then some vintage dictionary paper, and I've sewn that on, and then added these appliques and they're three-dimensional, so that gives nice texture and dimension. And then I've got this label here that's from another vintage dictionary, and it's got the definition for garden and so on and so forth. So that's the cover, and let's jump inside. So I've got another piece on the inside of the spine of that really pretty curtain, and then layered underneath it is more vintage dictionary page. I thought that looked really cool. And as you can see, the sari silk comes over the edges. And once again, I have forgotten to add my artist stamp, so of course I will be doing that before I send it out. Okay, so like I said, 4 signatures, and I'm going to go ahead and count because like I did the first time, I totally forgot. I think these are 11 as well. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pages per signature. Okay, so, oh, let me tell you the measurements. I'm all over the place today, guys. It is, what, about 6 1/8 wide by 9 1/4 long. Okay, and like I said, all shades of pink, and I've got, this is from an herbal book here. Lots of really nice coffee dyed pages to play around with. There's some vintage stationery papers that I got from Dolly and April, and then I've added a lot of pages from vintage garden books, and then of course the Franken pages. But with all the garden book pages, you can see why I think it would just be fantastic for use as a garden journal. This is from a really, really old book that I have, and I coffee dyed it. And then just like the others, I've left the strings in the center so you can chop them shorter or add little charms to them if you like. This is some vintage scrapbook paper here. It's pretty old, maybe from the 80s, 90s or so. Well, that's not too vintage, but lots of really pretty imagery here to play around with. Love this stationery paper. Excuse me. So I think this is pink paisley, maybe. Graphic 45 paper. There's more of the old stationery papers. This is pretty cool. This is a page from a farmer's almanac from 2012, and it had some pretty neat stuff in it, so I thought that that would be a fun little element to add. This was previously made, but it's from that same vintage garden book, so this has a pocket on the side and a pocket behind. And then these were also previously made, and see if I can grab a little card here. So I've sewn this down so that you can slide something small here and pocket there. This is a vintage like children's plant book paper from April, so thank you for that. April is perfect in here. Another pocket here. More really cool coffee dyed pages. Here's the other side of that vintage gardening book with another pocket. Beautiful paper. There's lots of roses, but I didn't really want to go that route. I wanted it to be inclusive of all types of florals. So here's your weather forecast, and this is the moon and sunrise and set for the month of June, and I just loved the imagery here, so I wanted to include that. And the third signature, this is that old scrapbook paper, more from the vintage gardening book. This is some really gorgeous origami paper that I got from Dolly, and I just thought I would add it because it's really fun and it's got the colors. So there are touches of teal and green and yellows in here. This one talks about animals and pests in your garden. It's another page from the herbal book. Oh, gosh, this is one of my favorite books. This is the center of this one. It's that beautiful Seven Gypsies paper. So just lots of fun little pages to play around with. These Franken pages are great because they're sturdy enough for you to add pockets and such. Look how pretty this paper is. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, and I have done a few little torn edges, but I didn't ink it up or anything. I just thought it looked fun. I really like doing that. It makes it look old and used. So it's more from that vintage gardening book, one of them. Here's some more stationery paper with some pretty little butterflies. I got this from Kim, and I just wanted to add more touches of the teal, so added that in there. This is from a book about, it's more like from a biological perspective, but you've got flowering plants and environments therein. More stationery paper. This is one of the previously made pages. I don't know what I was making these for. Maybe for the grimoire, because I've had them ever since. So I just added these in here because I've used the stationery pages from those that match those. Excuse me. Some pretty sunflowers here. More information about flowering plants. Some graph paper. I thought this would be fantastic for mapping out how you want to plant in your garden. Those types of pages are always really useful. And that's the back. And I'll just show you a few of the extras that I'll be sending, but you guys know, as I said before, this is an extra page I didn't use. I like to send a lot of little goodies for you, especially since it's a naked journal that you can play around with. So you're going to get some pieces of that really gorgeous curtain, and then some of this pale pink textiles. You can use these for embellishing and such. And these are all pages from that stationery set that are already coffee dyed and ready to go. So these are perfect for writing little notes and thoughts, folding up and putting in pockets. And an open envelope, little stray lint pieces there with some beautiful coffee dyeing in it. So you can, yeah, I just wanted to leave it open so you can glue it together how you like. Maybe you want to add it to one of your pages. So that's just some of the extras that will be sent with this journal. But like I said, there's going to be more. I'll have them all tucked away in a nice little envelope for you. So yeah, that is this one. And I'm not huge on pink. Okay, it's not my favorite color. I love all colors, but pink is definitely not my favorite. But I am just so happy with the way that this turned out. I had a lot of fun making this, and it also does have one thin layer of batting behind this fabric collage, so it's a little bit, excuse me, just a little bit squishy, and it feels so good in your hands. I'm such a tactile person, and this is just a great tactile journal. And like I said, I think it would be fabulous as a garden journal for planning your planting throughout the year. So yeah, this is I guess I'll call it Pretty in Pink or something of the like. And like I said, I'll have this listed in my Etsy shop very shortly. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. Don't forget to check back because I will have the bird themed journal ready in another day or two. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And of course, don't forget to spread the love. Bye, guys.